All right, so we are on page 6 of the workbook this morning. We're going to do page 6 and 7. So if you just look at the directions there, you'll notice it says find the LCD. Remember what LCD means? Least common denominator. Okay, and then add or subtract. So we need to get these denominators the same. And so right now I cannot add those because they are not like denominators. So do you know the first number that 5 and 8 will go into? And if you are unsure, you could always make a list. 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, go on. 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, and go on until they're the same. Does anybody see the first number that 5 and 8 go into? 40 is correct. Okay, so I'm going to need to make them both out of 40 before I can add them. So the first one, 3/5. How do I take 5 times what will give me 40?
Don't you have to make two the same numbers?
Yep, 5 times what is 40?
8.
8. So what do you think I got to take 3 times? 8. 3 times 8 is?
No, it's... I know that'd be
24. Okay, so that one's done. Now I gotta do the same thing for the second one. And some of us forgot that on our original assessment that we took. We forgot we had to do both of them. So 8 times what is 40?
Isn't it 61 or something?
8 times what is 40? 5. Yep, 8 times 5. So what do I gotta do to the 2? Times 5. 2 times 5 is? 10. Now I can add them. 24 over 40 plus 10 over 40. 34 over 40. Can that be reduced?
Yes.
Yes, because they're both even. I know that 2 goes in there. So what's 34 divided by 2? Half of 34. Close. That's 32.
18.
That's 36.
14.
17. 17. What's half of 40? 20. So there would be my answer. All right, second one. I have a denominator of 6 and 3. What is the first number that 6 and 3 can go into? 6, absolutely. It's really nice when it's the same as one of them because I don't even have to change 7 over 6. It already has a 6. So how do I get from 3 to 6? Times 2. What's 2 times 2? 4. And now I can simply subtract them. 7 minus 4 is?
3.
Over 6. Can that be reduced?
Yeah,
1 half. Okay, next one. They already have a common denominator.
That would be 18.
So you just add the tops.
That's just 8 8, which will just equal 1.
8 over 8 reduces to 1. That is correct. And the last one.
That would be 15.
6 doesn't go into 15. You can't just add 6 and 9. 18 is correct. You could multiply them and do 54, and then you just have to reduce at the end. You could do that. So Maddie, how did I get from 6 to 18? 6 times what? 3. How about 9 times what is 18?
Isn't it 9? No, 2.
9 times 2. So what is 3 over 18 minus 2 over 18? 1 over 18. Okay, and then we always reduce those fractions. All right, before we do page 7, we better talk a little bit about the notes. So go ahead and take your notes out. This will make the page 7 go a little bit smoother. It says there 1/2 times 2 over 3 means 1/2 of. So if you ever see the word of, what does it mean?
Fraction?
No.
Oh, multiply.
Multiply. Anytime you see the word of, it means multiply.
It was hard seeing some of the notes on the video because some of it was really blurry.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's staying in focus here. It appears to be on this end anyway. All right, so it says to represent this in a picture, divide the square into how many equal parts? So we're always going to start with this fraction, the second one. So what is the denominator of that one? 3. So that's where the 3 comes from, the denominator of the first one. And I'm going to shade in how many of the parts do you think? 2. That's the numerator. Okay, so I'm going to divide that into 3.
It's only basically divided into 3.
I'm going to go this way though.
Uh,
But you're right, you could have went the other way. I like to go vertically first. Okay, so I divided into 3 again. I'm not going to measure to make sure they're perfect. So just get them close. Next, divide the square into, now I'm going to use the first fraction for the second part. How many equal parts do you think? What's the denominator of the first fraction? 2. So I'm going to go into 2 equal parts, and I'm going to shade 1. That's the numerator of this fraction. So I got to divide it. I'm going to go the other way now. So there is my 2 equal parts. How do I shade one of them? So this time I'm just going to kind of draw lines to show that I've shaded half of them. So I shaded the top half. So now that represents 1/2 of 2/3. How many rectangles are double shaded? So how many total rectangles do you see? Let's do that first. How many little rectangles do you see?
6. 3. 6. Because isn't he going all the way around?
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little rectangles?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many are shaded double? So that means it's shaded this way and shaded with my other way.
5.
So how many have your marks from the first one? See the marks from the first one?
Yep.
And marks from the second one. How many have both marks? So it's shaded and has my little diagonal lines in here.
5.
You think 5?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to do a better good job of shading it then. All right, do you see that there's 4 that have this shade?
Mm-hmm.
How many also have the blue shade? So they have the pencil shade
Oh, 3.
and the blue shade.
3.
Not 3.
Oh, that's
Two.
This one. And that one.
Oh.
This one doesn't have the pencil and the blue. These two are missing the blue. This one doesn't have any. So I was looking for how many have both.
Oh,
Do you see that now?
yeah.
2 are double shaded. Okay, so what is 1/2 times 2/3? Well, it is 2 out of 6, which is what you got right here. 2 out of 6. 1 times 2, 2 times 3.
Which can't that be reduced?
To what?
Oh, well.
1/3.
Divide by 2 is 1/3. Correct. All right. Let's try another one like that that's already shaded for us.
Oh, it's back.
Okay, this is on the back. So let's look at the up and down shaded first, like we did with the pencil. So how many lines are going up and down? How many did I divide it into vertically?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's my denominator. And how many are pencil shaded out of those 4?
1.
1. Remember, that's going to be the vertical one. That's going to go second. Okay, horizontally comes first. So how many ways is it divided going this way?
3.
3. Okay, Landon, you can't answer this one. Asia, of those 3 going across, how many have the diagonal lines in them? Out of those 3. One, 2, 3. How many of them have the diagonal marks in them? So we're looking at this way. 1, 2, 3. How many have the diagonal marks in them? 1. Okay, so that's what fraction is represented. It asks what multiplication problem does this represent? So that is 1/3 times 1/4. So let's multiply the tops, Maddie. Or Madison. Do you go by Maddie or Madison? Either or. What's 1 times 1?
1.
3 times 4?
12.
12. Okay, and if you look overall, there are 12 shaded pieces there. And how many of them have both? Just 1 out of 12. That's why that diagram works as well. All right, new term for you. You're going to start to see the median. If you're driving down interstate, where's the median of the road?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Okay, so the median is the middle of the data set. Okay, in order to get the middle, you need to put the data values in
Number
order. Very good. So this is kind of a review from lesson 1. So here's our numbers, here's our data set. Let's put them in order. So what is the smallest number you see?
1.
And then,
2.
and then,
3.
and then,
7.
and then,
7.
and then,
8.
and then.
14.
All right. So the median,
7.
which one is in the middle? So you cross out the biggest and smallest until you are left with
7.
the middle. 7. The minimum, 1. Smallest number. Maximum,
17. No, 14.
14. Shouldn't be a 17 there. The mode, 7 is the most common. The range, What's the biggest number?
14.
What's the smallest?
1.
You just subtract them.
13.
13 is the range. And the mean. Okay, so let's add these together. See if there's any ones that are pretty nice to add. 7 and 3 is what?
10.
10. How about 2 and 8?
10.
10. How about 1, 7, and 14?
8 and
8 and 14.
18.
8 and 14.
22.
22. Okay, so let's add those up. 22, 10, and 10.
32. No, 42.
42. What else do I got to do to get the mean?
Divide.
By?
5, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 7.
Divide by 7 because there are 7 numbers,
Which would equal 6.
which would equal 6 is my mean. Very good. Don't forget to divide by how many numbers you have. Okay, one more there. It's got an even number of numbers, and we're just going to figure out the median. So let's put them in order. That would be 7, 8, 9, 12, 12, and 14. Now the median's a little trickier when you have an even set of numbers. Why?
Because there's no middle.
Because there's no middle. So I got to figure out what's between 9 and 12. So here's how you do that.
11. Or no. No, 10. No, can't 10 either.
You're doing 9 plus 12. I got to figure out the middle of that, so I'm going to figure out the average of those two. What's 9 plus 12?
21.
21. And then I have to divide it by 2 to get the middle. So what is half of 21?
11.
And if you can't see it, let's divide it out together. How about that? 2 into 2. Once. 2 into 1.
0.
0. So I got to bring down a 0. 2 into 10.
5.
So my middle is 10.5. So a little trickier when you have an even number. So whenever you get to that, add them up, divide by 2.
So what was the answer? 10.5.
10.5. That means if you had $21 and you need to split it up, you each would get $10.50. $10.50. All right, so let's go back to these problems. And let's just see if we can find the model now that we've talked about it. So remember, look at the second fraction first. 4/5, that means I should have 5 sections going up and down. And all 3 of them do. So then I got to look at this one. So going horizontally, I should have how many sections?
4.
4 sections. Does this one have 4?
Yes.
This one has 1, 2. So it can't be that one.
I don't know.
Does this one have 4 going across?
Yes.
Does this one have 4 going across?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah, 4.
Okay, so it's got to be one of these two.
But the shaded parts.
Okay, shaded parts. One of the 4 should be shaded.
So, yeah.
So B is the only one that's got one of them shaded. So your answer would be B. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. These are a little tricky, so we got to be careful, right? Again, I got 4/5 here. So there should be 5 of them going up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of them work so far.
Yeah.
Should be divided into 2. How many is this divided into horizontally? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can it be this one?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. Can it be this one? So I know the answer.
A.
A. Like you're Canadian. Next one, number 3. Again, I'm looking at the second fraction first. Should be 7 going up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can be any of them so far. So let's look at this one. 3 going across. How many go across here? 2. Can't be that one. How many go across here?
3.
3. Here? 3. So which one has one of them shaded?
C.
C is correct. Okay, now the other one, the last set here we're going to talk about today. So first of all, we're looking at our vertical sections. How many vertical sections do I have going up and down?
4.
4. So you already know the answer.
Yeah, it's A.
It's the only one that has a 4 there. Okay, number 2. How many vertical sections do you have?
3.
3. So right now I know it's got to be B or C.
Yep. But then you look at
How many horizontal do I have? 2.
which is
C. And
It's gotta be B.
for which one?
For 3.
Oh, 3. Okay, so let's see. For number 3, I got 2. So it's either got to be B or C so far. Going across horizontally, it's got to be 4. So how many are shaded?
2. No, 4.
1.
Oh no.
Not shaded, not shaded, not shaded. So it's C, yes. 1 out of the 4. And you could also look at the answer there, guys. 1 out of the 8. This is the only one that's double shaded. Remember, double shaded is like we talked about here. All right. Your assignment is on page 26 here. Does say show your work on loose leaf, so I'll give you a second sheet of paper to put your work on there. Make sure you have a common denominator. You don't have to worry about 1 and 2. It's already a common denominator, but 3, 4, 5, 6 need a common denominator, just like we did over here. Okay, and then reduce it. Activity 2, that's what we just got done doing. If you have a question on that, let me know. It can get a little tricky. Okay, but look at vertically first. So let's talk about this one. How many vertical sections do I have?
3.
3. So that already eliminates C. How many horizontal sections do I have?
2.
2. So which one do you think?
And B.
B. 2 sections. Okay, so that one's done for you. Don't get that one wrong. Okay. For number 3 here, mean and median. So put them in number order. What's the middle? What's the average? And problem number 4 is self-explanatory. Questions? All right, this will be due tomorrow.